Hi everybody, welcome to the indoor version of my monthly recap. It's very cold and wet and rainy and windy and miserable out there, so I'm in here with Mikey the cat. I think Larry's on the bed and we're just enjoying the heat, and I'll do the recap from inside here. I've got a bit of a scratchy throat, so please forgive that. I've been drinking some lemon tea. I don't think it's going to turn into anything else. I think it's just a bit scratchy. So let's get started. But before I get started with the list, I just wanted to say I'm close to 10,000 subscribers, and I think once I hit that number, I'd like to do questions and answers kind of video. So I know many people have asked questions in previous videos, and I feel like there's no way of going back and actually finding those. So I'm going to make this video the place where I bring together all the questions. So if you have any questions that you want to know, anything at all, stick it in the comments and I'll do my best to address them when I make this questions and answers video. I'm also going to do a deep dive on a few questions I get a lot, and I'm going to do those as separate videos. And I'll tell you the reason for that at the end of this video. But for the moment, get any questions, stick them in the comments, and yeah, I'll do my best to answer them soon. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I still need a few more to get to that goal of 10,000. So please do subscribe. If you like my videos, give the video a like. And if you really like my stuff, there's a PayPal link below, and there's also a super thanks thing somewhere below. And you can chuck in a little extra contribution. It does go a long way, and I really do appreciate those as well. But also just watching the videos, watching the ads goes a long way to help too. So enough about that stuff. Let's get into the list of all the stuff that I did in March. And I feel like I got a whole bunch of stuff done. So let's start with a little thing, but I rendered the bottom of the shower. After I did the tiles, I had a little lip, and I was afraid that water would drip onto that, kind of go behind the tiles, and I wanted to just render over it, curving it around the tiles. Pretty simple, easy job, done, and it makes my shower a lot more usable. Bathroom wall, wood and cob. So the wall to my left here, separating the bathroom sink from the living space, is something I've been meaning to do for ages, and I finally got the battens on the wall, the wooden battens, and started to put cob on those. And so I've separated the space a little bit. I still need to do the top part because I'm going to do a bottle wall, but I haven't yet decided on the pattern of that yet. So that's coming up in April, I hope. But having the space separated, I think changes the feel of my place, and I'm really happy to have that done. Planted seeds. 'Tis the season to get the seeds in the ground, or at least into the seed trays. So I planted a whole bunch of things, and I've got them on the go, and there's been life. I was checking it every day, prematurely, but after about a week, things started to pop up. Unfortunately, it seems like all my sunflowers have been munched. I'm pretty sure there's a family of snails living in my polytunnel, but everything else seems to be going okay, and I'll get them all potted on at some point very soon, and into the garden soon enough as well. Added wood shavings to the garden. So I've put down kind of a geotextile cloth to try to stop the weeds on the paths of my garden. And I went to the wood seller guy and got some more wood chips, chucked those down on the paths, and I think it looks really cool actually. And so far it seems to be working well. If I can just keep the weeds on the paths to a minimum, then that'll just save me loads of work in the future. And I think the geotextile plus the wood shavings or sawdust is gonna do the trick. Ideally I would use wood chips, but sawdust and wood shavings are free and easy to get, and the wood chips are a lot more complicated. So for the moment, it's sawdust, and I'm happy with how it's going. Went for lunch. It's not all work around here. I met some friends for lunch at a place called Au Lagar. It's about a half-an-hour drive away, and I love that place. It's a great restaurant. I'll put a link to it below, and we enjoyed a lovely meal, had a great catch-up, and it was fun. And something that was less fun, sharpening my chisels. You think I would love it because I'm quite patient and I like those kind of repetitive, meditative tasks. But for some reason, sharpening annoys me because you always have to stop to do it, and I sort of just like getting on with the work. So I did spend some time on a rainy day sharpening all my chisels up, and I think it was fine. It was okay. Now I have a whole set of sharp chisels, and I just need to get into the routine of sharpening them each time I use them, and hopefully I'll get better at it, and hopefully I'll start to like it a little more than I do right now. Went on a bike ride. I got the e-bike out and I drove it to the post office, and then I came back the long way. and I really enjoyed it. The e-bike is great. It's nice not to have to pedal up those hills. It's got big fat tires, and I was able to take it off-road without too much hassle. So it's a beautiful day, and I really want to get out on the bike a lot more than I do. I'd also like to get my regular bike out that doesn't have a battery and challenge myself on those hills, but for the moment, while I'm feeling a little lazier, it's nice to take the e-bike out and to be able to go exploring. There's lots of places in the area I haven't explored, and the e-bike gives me a perfect chance to get out farther afield than maybe I'd get on the bicycle and explore the area a bit more. Bottled and tasted wine. My friends at Kila Yoga Farm have a winemaking co-op, and I've been a part of that this year. I've helped bottle in previous years, but this year I brought some grapes from my friend's place, and I've been a part of the process from start to finish. And this was the finishing. We bottled the wine and we tasted it, and now I have a case of 13 bottles. That's half the wine. I'll get the other half another day in about a month. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice to share this experience with friends and to have a co-op rather than kind of having my own operation, which who knows when that would happen. But Lawrence has all the experience. He's got all the gear, and it's just a fun time to go there and spend each phase with friends and learning a lot along the way as well. And the wine actually tastes pretty good. So I'm impressed, and I'm excited to bust the wine out when my parents visit very soon and see what they think of it. Kindling and lemons at Sinead's. I took some wheelbarrow loads of kindling to Sinead's place, fig branches, olive branches, and I picked a bunch of lemons off her trees. And I haven't used those lemons yet. That's coming soon. I'm gonna make a fermented lemon pickle with my friend Kimberly, but I've got them off the trees. Most of them have fallen on the ground, so I feel like I rescued them just in time. They're in my fridge, and we're gonna make some fun things out of that very soon. Looked at a couch. I went on a ill-fated walk where I ended up hitting a wall at the end of the path I didn't remember was there, so I had to turn around and then drive to my friend's place to look at a couch that she's gonna give me. I needed to see if it was gonna fit in my place. Turns out it will, and while I was there, I also loaded up my car with another batch of straw, so that's gonna go in the garden when I eventually get around to working on the garden, hopefully very soon. But it was a nice stroll, even though I hit a dead end and had to go back the way I came. But the couch looks good. I'm happy I checked it out, and now I just need to clear out the space behind me so I have space for this thing. Strimmed, got the strimmer out. I strimmed the bottom terrace a little bit, and I strimmed the middle terrace a little bit as well. And I love strimming. I've got some more in my future, but I'll just do a little bit here, a little bit there, and mainly focus on the places that I tend to walk. And hopefully this month I'll get down there and blast the entire thing as well. Started limoncello. I have loads of lemons. I don't even know what to do with them. There's still loads on the tree. More on the way. I've had lots of great suggestions from people in my comments, so I'm gonna work through some of those ideas. But one of them was make limoncello, basically just peeling off the rind of the lemon, sticking it in vodka. Easy peasy, wait for a month, and it should be ready soon. So hopefully I'll try that on camera in the coming weeks. We'll see, but it's a pretty easy process so far, and I'm excited to give it a go. Collected clay. My friends down the road, 5 minutes drive, they've got clay. And I went and filled up a whole bunch of buckets, brought it back, and now I'm restocked with clay. It's nice that I can get it from so close. I would love to have a source of it on my land, but I haven't really looked. And I'm hoping that maybe we can look on Sinead's land and find a source there. But for the moment, it's great that my friends are willing to give me clay, and it's nice to have it just there as well. Moved stones. I have a massive pile of stones down on my third terrace from when a wall was broken up, and I want to bring them up because they're going to go in the toolshed foundation. So my friend loaned me a dolly thing, a trolley, a sack trolley, whatever they're called, and I've used that to move the stones, and it's actually been perfect. Getting them in the wheelbarrow and moving them up with that it's not impossible, but it's really tricky, especially as one person, and this dolly thing is the perfect tool for the job. And so I just got to it and moved most of the pile up here. Split a stone. Some of the stones down there are too big, and so I brought out the plug and feathers and the drill and the lump hammer, and I basically just split some stones. It's a wonderful process, and unfortunately I wasn't able to share the beautiful sounds of stone splitting because it was too windy out, so I had to set the whole thing to music. But in the future, when I split a stone, I'll make sure it's a quieter, calmer day, and when you're hitting the plug and feathers, it makes the most wonderful noise, and I'm excited to share that with you because I have lots of stone splitting in my future. Buried toolshed pipes. The toolshed foundation is going to have some pipes running underneath it. And I finally bought all the connections I need and finally stuck them in the ground. So I'm ready to keep going on the foundation once I get some more dry days, because I need to put mortar in between the rocks and I need a few dry days to get going on that again so it doesn't wash away in the rain. Made a cart for my battery. I have this massive lithium battery that I use as a backup, and no matter where I put it, the thing is in my way. It's really heavy to move, and I want to stick it in the closet with the rest of my solar stuff, but getting it in and out is pretty tricky, so I built a little cart to be able to wheel it out so I can access the front more easily where the plugs go. So I did that, and now the battery is out of my way, but I can pull it out easily, and that was my goal. So the little trolley thing did the trick. Attached shelf. That's the shelf just here above the bathroom wall. It was just sitting on there, resting on there, and I still hadn't cut it down to size, so I chopped it to size, routed it, screwed it in, and now it's attached, and that's good news. Took a Tadala course. I haven't shared this yet, but I took a 2-day Tadala course with my friend Barbara, and it was absolutely wonderful. Tadala is a Moroccan method for waterproofing lime, and I'll go through it all in a future video, but I had a great time. One of my friends did the course as well, met some nice people, and feel like I learned a lot, and feel like I also learned that Tadala isn't quite as intimidating as I thought it would be, and so I feel a lot better about the gigantic shower that I'm going to Tadala in the future. So it was a nice experience. Thanks, Barbara. Had a lot of fun, and I'll share that soon. So my main project for March was the closet, and I wasn't expecting it to be. I was expecting to work more on the tool shed, but it was really rainy, so the closet was a fun indoor project that I wanted to finish anyway, so I just got on with that. So that started with building a wooden frame. I put slats across the space where the wall's going to go, and that was to put cob on top of them eventually to close the space off. I covered the wires at the back of the closet, so made a weird hockey stick looking thing, made a little box to cover the wires down at the bottom. And I wanted to do that just to enclose the wires, make it all look good, and it meant that I could lime up to the edge of the box and the hockey stick thing and have it all look nice and tidy, nice and sexy, even though it lives in the back of the closet where no one will see it. For some reason, it seemed important to do that. And now that that's done, it means I can forget about the back wall for now and focus on everything else. Made wooden shelves. I was gonna do just a wall, a boring wall, clay and nothing else, but I thought that doesn't seem so creative, so I decided to make some wooden shelves that would stick out of the wall, so I could put things on, just have little plants, little photos, who knows. I just thought it would break up the monotony or the boringness of just a clay wall and also be functional. So I did that. I made some shelves, and I think they look really cool. I'm happy I decided to go that extra mile and do something a little less boring. Built and pointed the rock shelf. Beside the stove, there's a cob wall, which kind of acts as a battery for the heat. It soaks the heat in and then redistributes it when the stove is off. And I just had the top of that empty for the longest time. My intention was always to put stones on it, but I just never got around to it. So I finally did that, put the stones on, pointed in between them, and it's all kind of connected to the wall of the closet as well. So that's done. It's been something I've been meaning to do for about 6 months, and I'm happy to have that one checked off the list as well. Made holes and cobbed the wall. So the wooden frame for the wall was made, and I decided that I wanted to put the shelves in, so that was good. It was easy to attach them onto that frame. But I also decided I wanted to put holes in the wall, and that made things a little more complicated because making the holes through the wood was a challenge I wasn't sure how to do. Eventually, I used the jigsaw. I kind of ripped the whole wall apart in the process, but I got the holes in and I rebuilt the cob, putting it on the frame, making what I think is a really cool wall, closing off the side of the cupboard and making that corner space just feel a lot more complete. So the cupboard project was really fun. I still have to do final renders and things on it, but for the most part, I'm gonna call it done, and I definitely am happy to have the solar closed off and everything just feels a lot more cozy. So hopefully I can get some dry days and switch focus back to the tool shed, but it was really nice to be able to come inside and work on that. GoPro. My parents gave me an early birthday present of a brand new GoPro, and that's meant that I've been able to film outside in the wind, and it's just saved me loads of hassle because my other one was pretty old, and oftentimes I'd record something and something would go weird, or the sound would go nuts, or the wind would make it so I couldn't actually even do anything outside. And having this is amazing. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for the early present. And I think a lot of you have said that you've noticed a really big difference in the picture and the sound. So I'm happy that that's improved everything. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to actually go outside when it's windy and film stuff. So that's a wrap on March. It was a really productive month. I had a lot of fun doing some artistic things in the closet, some carpentry stuff. And yeah, I just had a really nice time working with the clay. And all things were positive. It was a really busy month, but very productive, and I'm happy with what I got done. April will be very, very busy, but possibly a little slower with the videos because my parents are coming at the end of April. Actually, the 21st of April, they're arriving. And other times that they've visited, I haven't really been able to stockpile videos because I take so long editing them. I do all kinds of little shots here and there, and it takes me ages to piece it all together. It's just how I like to do the videos. I feel like it's more entertaining having little shots close up and stuff. So being the perfectionist that I am, it's just what I do. But I think for April, I'm going to try to stock up a few videos that are a little less edity and a little more me talking about a specific topic. So I might address some questions that I get quite often and do like more of a deep dive video where I'm just talking, possibly walking around the land, and it's going to be a lot less work editing for me. And I can stockpile a few videos, play them at the end of April and May, and it means that I can just spend more time with my parents rather than having to spend loads of time in the evenings doing editing for the stuff that I'm filming while they're here. And so that means you probably won't get much parent stuff in videos until after they leave, but I will have filmed loads of stuff and I'll have lots to share. So if you do want to follow along with my parents' visit, I have an Instagram account and you can find the link below, and that'll give a good day-to-day rundown on what we're up to, because I know people really like it when my parents visit, and I'll keep the content going on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll be able to stay up to speed with what we're working on. But the videos will probably come later on, and I'm going to have a slightly different style of video coming sort of at the end of April and early May. So it'll be interesting to see what people think of that. And I hope it's still entertaining and fun for you guys to watch. And so that's going to happen in April, but I also have a lot of prep to do. My dad wants to build a deck over top of my water tank next to my splash pool, which is awesome. But I have a bunch of prep to do on repairing the front of the tank. I have a friend coming to help with that for a couple days. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes, because I've honestly been avoiding this specific job for the longest time. It's because the front of the water tank has a whole bunch of pipes buried underneath concrete, and I'm just nervous to see what I'll find under there. And I also need to buy a big massive roll of 2-inch pipe, and I haven't had transport for that thus far. So hopefully we can solve all those problems, figure it all out, and have that ready for when my dad arrives, and then he can work on the water tank, keep himself happy down there, and I'll be up working on other stuff. And I've probably got a bunch of stuff to prep to see what my mom wants to get up to as well, because my parents don't come here and chill out. They come here and they really help out a lot. So I want to have things that they want to do, give them a selection of tasks. Obviously, they can sit around if they want to and sip cocktails, sip limoncello, but that's just not their style. So I've got a bunch of prep to do before they arrive. So that's it from me and my scratchy voice. I'm going to have a tea right after this. March was great. April's going to be exciting. I'm super pumped for my parents to arrive and to share that all with you guys. And I'm on the drive for 10,000 subscribers, really, really close. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a like, and I hope you enjoyed this recap. And I'll see you in April for lots of exciting stuff.